Chrysler promised safer minivan rear door latches, and America's still waiting. Meantime, we caught Chrysler salesmen spreading misinformation about this serious safety issue. Inside Edition is next.
After we broke the story on weak rear door latches on Chrysler minivans, the automaker promised to replace all of them. But 4 months later, the deaths and injuries continue, and Chrysler is yet to make good on its word.
We're talking about children and adults' lives here.
And we found Chrysler salesmen who are spreading misinformation about the scope of the problem.
How many people have gone flying out the back? Do you know?
I think there were 2 cases.
2 cases?
Yeah.
Today, what some people are doing on their own to get satisfaction. Sonia Kinney had a terrible secret, but when she went to her mom for help, her cries fell on deaf ears.
Mom didn't understand. I was very sad.
And when she moved in with her dad, things were no better.
He called me a retard.
So how did a young girl who couldn't hear use the courts to make everyone sit up and listen? It's wedding bells again for Tom Arnold. We'll tell you how tight the security is and why one high-profile guest turned down the invitation.
Hello, I'm Deborah Norville, and welcome to Inside Edition. Today, news about a couple of celebrity marriages. Tom Arnold's about to take the plunge again, and Christy Brinkley's marriage is in the papers. Plus, a deaf teenager whose parents never learned sign language demands to be heard. But first, an update on our ongoing investigation on those weak rear door latches on Chrysler minivans. As Americans still wait for Chrysler to keep its promise to make stronger replacement latches available, our Steve Wilson found a couple of consumers who found a way to fight back.
At nights, crying for a small latch. I lost my boy.
It's been months now since we first showed you how Sergio Barrientos is just one of at least 37 deaths linked to weak rear door latches in Dodge, Plymouth, and Chrysler minivans. When a government investigation confirmed our reports were right, Chrysler headed off a formal recall with a promise. The big automaker would offer stronger latches to any of the 4.5 million minivan owners who want one. Maybe you remember all the hoopla back in March and Chrysler's catchy slogan.
Your concern is our concern.
But now, 4 months later, the deaths and injuries continue, and Chrysler has yet to make good on its word.
We're talking about children and adults' lives here, and this thing has been dragging on long enough.
Paul Castus and his wife Sally have found an alternative to waiting around for Chrysler to offer safer latches. They were simply not satisfied with the kind of concern a Chrysler representative expressed to them on the Chrysler minivan hotline.
I asked her, what do I do if my children are hurt or killed in an accident and they fly out that tailgate? And she said, sue us.
Sue us?
That was her exact words, sue us.
In a moment, we'll tell you exactly how the Castus family got Chrysler to buy back their minivan, and they bought a new Ford Windstar. But first, take a look at a pattern of misinformation we've uncovered at Chrysler dealerships all around the country. Loads of new 95s are being sold without the fix Chrysler has promised. And what's worse, the salesmen are claiming there was never any safety concern about the 95s.
And they told you there's no problem with the 95?
Yeah, it's from 94 on down that they're putting the latches in.
So there's nothing wrong with this I'd have to worry about?
No.
At Teterboro Chrysler in New Jersey, we were wrongly assured the 95s are not included in Chrysler's so-called service program. And in High Point, North Carolina, at Ilderton Chrysler Dodge, we were told the same thing.
The recall's only up to 94.
And talking with other dealers all around the country, every one of them peddled the same story. But it's just not true. You may remember the government first cut a deal to allow Chrysler to fix all but the 95s, but then we showed how the 95 rear latches were dangerous too. More government tests confirmed we were right again, and Chrysler offered to fix the 95s as well.
Now, I mean, how many people have gone flying out the back? Do you know?
I think there were 2 cases.
2 cases?
Yeah.
Now, most people know car salesmen have a reputation for stretching the truth to make a sale. But our hidden cameras are catching Chrysler salesmen actually shrinking the truth.
They've made 4 million minivans.
But neither car salesman is telling it like it is. We've seen the government files. It's not 2 and it's not 40. The files contain 207 reports of Chrysler minivan back doors popping open. And 134 times, passengers, many of them children, have flown out the back. The death toll stands at 37.
Every one of those 4 million car owners is stuck with an unsafe car.
Suzanne Clark is still amazed at Chrysler. First, she says the company designed a latch that let go in a minor collision. Her 5-year-old son, Alex, was seat belted in the back seat, and both Alex and the seat went flying out the hatch. Fortunately, Alex was not seriously injured, and now, she says, Chrysler has added insult to injury by spreading a story that she and her husband are to blame. Even here at the dealership where she bought her minivan, listen to this.
And what they did was they took the back seat out, and when they put the back seat back in, they didn't install it properly.
They're lying. They know they're lying. I have told them the truth.
Why don't you have your salesman here?
Well, how do we know that's not the truth?
Well, she's your customer. You got her phone number. Why don't you go in there and call her if you think I'm telling you a story?
I don't need to call her.
You don't need to call her. You don't need to call her because you know that nobody from her family ever told you that story.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Now remember, we've repeatedly caught Chrysler people telling the same story on the minivan hotline. And now, after Suzanne Clark has told them repeatedly to stop lying about her, we're catching Chrysler dealers all over, still spreading the same story.
And Chrysler says when they investigated that case that seat was never hooked up.
Chrysler said that?
That's correct.
Who told you that?
Chrysler.
We drove around with it for 3 months and never had the slightest problem with it. The investigating engineer from the transportation department told us that the physical evidence indicated that it was latched in securely, and but given all that, it is a lie. They are lying. It doesn't matter. The door shouldn't have come open.
Suzanne is also plenty hot at government regulators who are supposed to protect consumers from dangers like this. By making a deal with Chrysler and backing off a formal recall, she says Dr. Ricardo Martinez and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration are allowing the company to mislead consumers about the seriousness of the risk. Martinez is still refusing to explain his decision.
Well, what I told you before, Steve, is that we will have this discussion at the appropriate time and place.
While we're still waiting for that discussion with Martinez, his agency is apparently running out of patience with Chrysler, which has yet to even submit plans for the new latches. A recent government letter warned failure to respond promptly may be construed as a violation of the law. Chrysler blames the delay on redesign and production retooling, but now promises to begin notifying owners in September about when the latches will be available. Meanwhile, auto safety consultant Ralph Hoare says he's tired of waiting for the government to release videotape crash tests it conducted. They reportedly confirm the dangers of Chrysler latches.
We're told that these are medium to low speed side impact crash tests in which the Chrysler minivan is the only van in which the hatch pops open and dummies fall out of the rear of the minivan.
Suzanne Clark and the mother of 2 other latch victims have joined Hoare in a lawsuit to force the government to release those videotape tests.
You know, we as taxpayers paid for that investigation. I want to know what they found. They are not releasing their investigation results. They have shared those results with Chrysler. I want to see them. I paid for them. I want to see them.
Well, now back to Paul Castis. Just what did he do when he got fed up waiting for Chrysler to offer a stronger latch?
In the state of Florida, I can file suit under the Florida Lemon Law, and that's what I decided to do.
He notified Chrysler he was planning to introduce lots of evidence from government files and from Inside Edition. He also planned to question Chrysler's top safety executives, too.
That was the last I heard from them until I received a telephone call telling me that they were going to buy it back.
That easy.
That basically was it.
A few weeks later, Castis exchanged his Chrysler minivan for a check and this letter.
And this was highlighted as well as noted with a star. Lastly, this vehicle was repurchased due to rear door latch, period.
Now, Castis isn't the only one using this strategy. Across the country, Gloria Mendoza is using the lemon law in her state of California to try and force Chrysler to buy back her minivan.
I'm afraid to drive it. I'm afraid to put my kids in there or anybody else's, and I was carpooling, and I've had to stop that. There's no way I'll put anybody else's kids, in that van.
Gloria received a setback earlier this week when an arbitration board ruled her latch concerns are not reflective of a manufacturing defect. Her next step could be a stop in a California courtroom.
Why can't you just be patient?
No, because to me they have manufactured a very poor latch. I want it fixed now.
Now, following our initial stories, Chrysler's adopted a policy of refusing to speak with Inside Edition. The replacement latch program, by the way, is expected to cost Chrysler more than $200 million. And the company is now telling the government that it could be fall of next year, September 1996, before safer latches are available to everyone. Coming up, Tom Arnold gets ready to say I do this weekend. And up next, a teenager demands her freedom from parents because they never learned her language.
I'm going to make her come home if that's what it takes. She's not going to walk out on everybody that loves her. Johnny Hughes ain't going to love her until the day she dies.
Good afternoon, friends. I'm Lee Ames for Gabrielli Ford out in Churchville, a division of the Gabrielli Auto Group. Come out and see us this Friday afternoon. Used car buyers, $1 down delivers. We've got the inventory. We can pass on the savings. Here's a 93. This is an S10 Chevy pickup, $1 down delivers. Only $125 a month. A 93 Tempo, $135 a month. An 89 Jeep Cherokee, $179 a month. No credit application will be refused. Come and see us today, 293-3100. We'll see you here.
In Niagara Falls, Ontario, Marineland is the place to go, where magic's king and the dolphin sing. Everyone loves Marineland. You can take your family for the day, watching the whales while they swim and play, seeing friends you'll miss, a great big kiss. Everyone loves Marineland.
The anniversary sale.
Rochester Colonial has been manufacturing windows and doors in excess of 40 years.
In windows and doors, there's no firm in the Rochester area that offers greater variety, greater depth of product line, or the expertise to install those products and service them correctly.
The anniversary sale. For your best value in windows, doors, porch enclosures, or awnings, call Rochester Colonial Manufacturing now and make no payments for 90 days.
All across this great country, America's Best contacts and eyeglasses will beat any advertised price, period. Only $39.99. And new patients get famous Daily Wear soft contacts or 2 pair of great eyeglasses complete, including eye exam. Daily Wear soft contacts or 2 pair of high fashion eyeglasses, $39.99 including the exam. America's Best contacts and eyeglasses. Now.
It's not easy being a teenager in the best of circumstances, but imagine the tremendous obstacles 15-year-old Sonia Kinney has faced. Deaf since birth, her parents never bothered to learn sign language. As Craig Rivera reports, it's a situation that's forced her to choose between her family and her happiness.
I would lay me down to sleep.
As you watch Sonia Kinney sign one of her favorite church songs, you can't help but be captivated by the charm of this 15-year-old.
From the simple child of faith.
But this teenager has just been through the fight of her life, a legal battle to leave her natural parents and go to live with her teacher and interpreter, whom she'd grown to love like a mother. Sonia has been deaf since birth. And incredibly, she has never been able to have a conversation with her parents, Norman Kenny and Christine Kenny Estes. Despite Sonia's special needs, neither of her parents, who split up in 1986, has learned sign language. According to Sonia, this isolation led to one of the most painful episodes of her life. While living with her mother, she tried to alert her that she had been sexually abused by her stepfather.
Mom didn't understand. I was very sad.
Was that really bad for you, not being able to tell your mom what was happening?
Yeah, it had gone on for 5 months.
But Joni Hughes understood. She contacted Sonia's counselors at the Eastern North Carolina School for the Deaf. They, in turn, alerted the Department of Social Services to the allegations. Though no charges were ever filed against him, Sonia's stepfather, now deceased, was forced to move out of her mother's home.
Sonia's mother, Christine, denies her daughter ever asked her for help, and she does not believe her deceased husband ever molested Sonia. Nevertheless, last January, Sonia decided to move in with her father, an admitted drug user with a history of alcohol abuse, on one condition.
If you promise not to drink beer, he said he wouldn't. And then no sooner we moved out, he started drinking beer again.
Sonia says her decision only brought her more heartache.
Did your dad used to call you names?
Yes. He'd call me a retard.
Sonia was living in her dad's tiny apartment with her sister and brother, who knew some sign language, but they were not always around.
My dad understands nothing. He knows no signs.
Why didn't you ever learn how to speak sign?
Because sign, you don't need signing all the time.
Well, how are you going to communicate to your daughter? What if she wants to talk to her father?
That's why we write notes.
Finally, last March, Sonia came to a decision.
She said, Dad, I love you, but I just can't live here anymore. I'm isolated, and you get drunk too much, and you scare me. And she said, I want to live with Miss Joni, and he agreed to it.
But after 3 weeks, he had a change of heart.
The deal was off, is what he told me. And so I was interpreting all this for Sonia, and she just immediately started shaking her head, and she said, no, you promised, you told me it was my decision, I'm happy there, I'm not coming back home.
I'm gonna make her come home if that's what it takes. She's not gonna walk out on everybody that loves her. Joni Hughes ain't gonna love her until the day she dies.
The fight for Sonia was emotional and culminated in a 3-month legal battle with Sonia's parents.
I've never got abusive with my kids. I've never hit my children.
In an extraordinary decision, Joni Hughes, a single mom, was given permanent custody of Sonia.
What do you think of Joni and her daughters?
I love all 3 of them.
Do you love Joni like a mom?
Yeah.
Both Norman and Christine are bitter about the decision. They say they did their best for Sonia, and they feel betrayed by Joni Hughes.
I've never hurt them children. I've never hurt any of my children. Never.
What about the drinking problem?
That ain't no problem.
Not a problem? You drink 2 6-packs, a case a day?
No, I don't drink that kind of beer.
How much you drink?
Maybe a 6-pack in the evenings.
You smoke marijuana?
Not in 4 months. They took my children because of nicknames that I've been calling for years.
Do you miss your dad?
Not really bad. Not really bad. Yeah, I love him, and, you know, I told him I want to visit, but he didn't want to do that.
Sonia says she is happy now, living with Joni and her daughters.
Better than her stomach going grr, grr.
And she plans to have a thorough examination of her ears, something she has never done.
Maybe I can have surgery and have it fixed. I don't like being deaf.
Even with her disability, when in the presence of this extraordinary teenager, you know she is worth fighting for.
I just fell in love with her. She's one of those precious children that just grabs your heart.
Sonia's father says he hasn't given up his fight for custody. In fact, he says he'll go to the Supreme Court if necessary. Coming up next on Inside Edition, Tom Arnold gives Wedded Bliss another try.
So I asked her to go out on a date with me. She did, thank God.
And it was an instantaneous rush for both of them.
Monday, her testimony shocked the nation.
I was 10 years old when this happened.
Now, Curie Jewell sits down to tell her story exclusively to Inside Edition.
Hey, get back here. You don't want to miss this. The Summer Geo Sale is on now. The coolest car, the hottest deals. Over 900 Geos available. Like Geo Tracker with $1,750 cashback. Geo Metros for just $80.95 with great gas mileage and dual airbag standard. Dual airbags for $80.95. Cool. Geo Prism. Best in its class in initial quality. Best in its price, too. Just $189 a month. The Summer Geo Sale at your local Chevrolet Geo dealer. Now you can go.
The journey begins. Your access to a whole new world of information and entertainment. Get expanded pay-per-view options. advanced parental controls, more choices than ever before, and a new interactive program guide. Watch for an Access rep in your neighborhood. Access, yours for just pennies a day. Begin your journey now. Call Time Warner Communications.
The New Lauer's annual tent sale is on. Now through Sunday, save as never before on a tremendous selection of quality brand name furniture.
Good evening. In just a few minutes on News 10 at 6 tonight, you will see the victims of a near disaster on Lake Ontario today. It was an emergency 7 miles offshore and a dramatic rescue. We hope you'll join us live, local, and up to the minute at 6 on News 10.
Playing second banana to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Hugh Grant, Tom Arnold has become a movie star, and he'll be cashing a $4 million paycheck for his next film. And that's not the only good news. As Scott Rappaport reports, this weekend, Tom ties the knot.
Yes, at 36 years old, Tom Arnold is getting ready to once again say, I do. No, not to Hugh Grant, but to his girlfriend, 22-year-old Michigan native Julie Champnella.
Tom and Julie have known each other about a year now, and they met, of all places, in the Viper Room.
So I asked her to go out on a date with me. She did, thank God.
And it was an instantaneous rush for both of them, mainly Tom. Julie couldn't be farther from Roseanne or from anyone else in Hollywood.
So what was that in the tabloids last week? A story claiming that Tom was cuddling with a female co-star. Is the story just true lies? Well, Inside Edition has obtained the exclusive video. Seems pretty innocent to us, but you be the judge. On the afternoon in question, Tom was with actress Jessica Lundy, who appears on the TV show Hope and Gloria. The two were in Toronto, Canada, filming the upcoming comedy, The Stupids. They were caught on tape having lunch at an outdoor cafe. After lunch, they get some ice cream and visit a fortune teller. Stop the presses.
There's no truth to the rumor that Tom and Jessica are any more than friends. Tom loves women. He's a big flirt, but he's no fool. He's not stupid. He and Jessica are just pals.
And tabloid reports don't seem to be putting a damper on Tom and fiancée Julie's big day. Saturday's event will likely be the biggest wedding that the bride's hometown of Dearborn, Michigan has ever seen.
They've invited 700 guests, which is a phenomenal number of people.
So I guess it's time to send in a specialist.
And Arnold seems to be using some of the top-secret maneuvers he learned in True Lies. All the wedding planners and the hundreds of guests have been sworn to secrecy. Despite the tight security, we managed to find out a few tidbits about what'll be going on tomorrow at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel.
It's going to begin at sundown. Tom's rabbi, who did Tom's conversion and ironically performed his wedding to Roseanne, will be officiating at the ceremony.
Chris Farley is the best man. He was responsible for Tom and Julie meeting. Julie's maid of honor is her best friend from high school.
But alas, there is one guest who had to turn down the invitation.
Because of Hugh's recent scandal, Hugh is bowing out very politely. He doesn't want to create any attention.
So with Tom's messy breakup with Roseanne far behind him, he says he's ready to settle down for good.
She is everything in the world that he's wanted.
Reportedly, it was Tom's sincere voice over the phone that won Julie's mom over. As to that video, Jessica Lundy had no comment, and Tom Arnold says they're just pals. Up next, we set the record straight on Christy Brinkley's marriage.
My dad has been my dentist since my first tooth has come in, and this is the first toothpaste that he's ever sent me.
This is Tartar Control Mentadent, the most complete tartar control toothpaste.
It's tartar control. It has the fluoride, baking soda, and peroxide that my dad believes in. Yeah, you asked me, are you using the Mentadent? Yes, Dad.
Tartar Control Mentadent helps you brush away plaque on teeth around the gum line and helps stop tartar before it forms.
It leaves you with a very clean, refreshing feeling.
Tartar Control Mentadent.
It has everything.
When the pressure and bloating of painful gas ties you in knots, don't make the antacid mistake. Take this little pill instead. Maximum Strength Phazine. There's more gas relief in one Phazine soft gel than in a whole bottle of regular Maalox. All this Maalox can't get rid of gas, but with the liquid medicine in just one Phazine soft gel, the gas is gone. Take Phazine, and the gas is gone.
Transmission problems are no worry when you visit Milton Ron's Transmission. Family owned and operated since 1959. 849 Clinton Avenue South off the Goodman Street exit of 490.
Rosa and Sullivan's air conditioning sale is here. Save $50 to $150 on 5,000 to 24,000 BTU air conditioners. See us today.
Hey, great news. Summer's the off-season at Valley Total Fitness when things slow down and we have our big off-season sale with the absolute lowest price of the year. Just $16 down and $16 a month. As words like tremendous deal and I'd better join now slowly form in your head, we're going to slowly bring up the phone number. That's your cue to hurry, because this off-season sale won't be on long. Don't miss the lowest price of the year. Call Valley Total Fitness now at 1-800-FITNESS and turn on your life.
Okay, Mom, let's go. All by myself, all by myself? Okay.
Darien Lake, the fun you keep coming back to.
All by myself, with Mom.
What one report is saying about Christy Brinkley's marriage in just a moment. But first, here's what's up on Inside Edition this coming Monday.
Her testimony shocked congressmen and the nation.
I was 10 years old when this happened.
She was slated to become one of his wives. She survived the nightmare that was Waco. And now, exclusive, Curie Jewell sits down to tell her story to Inside Edition.
We were always waiting for and preparing for the feds to come in.
These are details only she could know. Curie Jewell to hell and back. Don't miss an Inside Edition exclusive.
That's next time. And finally today, with the tabloid paper set to say that supermodel Christy Brinkley has threatened to leave husband Rick Taubman, the developer's taken steps to quash the story. Taubman spoke with New York Daily News columnist George Rush.
I talked with Rick Taubman the other day, told him what was on the way, and he says it's absolutely not true. We're still together. No one has ever given me an ultimatum.
And we'll keep you posted. And that's it for Inside Edition today. Thanks for watching. I'm Deborah Norville. Have a great weekend.